Hi, good morning. Welcome to my Compound Life. This is a channel where we build assets, we build habits, has to be great habits, and of course, we build freedom, and that should really be financial freedom for you and me and everyone else that watches my channel. It is the 23rd of December, morning ish, about 10 a.m. in the morning. Nice weather in Birmingham, West Midlands. Okay, not nice weather, but at least no, sun, no rain. I think quite cold out there, so I think I'll stay in tonight today. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. This is another video for Bitcoin Daily. At the time of recording, Bitcoin price is at around 87,500. Not too good, but not too bad either. So let's get on with it. Bitcoin price. Bitcoin is now trading at around 87,500 to about 89,000 yesterday, around similar time. Okay, so in the last 24 hours, it fell about 1%, starting from near $88,000, going down to a low around $87,500, and haven't been making any big jumps back up ever since, right? So I think yesterday around similar time, we were at around $90,000. That was pretty exciting when that happened. So at that time, at that time that was pretty exciting. I was actually hoping that we might get a Santa rally, but apparently not, right? It seems to be more of a manipulation than a Santa rally, I'm afraid. So the market does feel kind of slow because of the trading lack of trading days, lack of trading hours until the holiday time. I think even for tomorrow, as well as the 27th of December, market trading hours will be, well, at least the market trading hours in the US will be much less. I think half a day or so, right? So expect a lot less liquidity in the market, right? So overall, Bitcoin is still down about 30% from its all-time high of over $126,000 from October, around October 8th or 9th. Staying in this $85,000 to $95,000 range, like it's taking a break now, winter break for Christmas, or until the next move. Okay, we are definitely seeing heaps of manipulation on a daily basis, especially 10 a.m. US time. Manipulation continues. Bitcoin will drop to about $2,500. Essentially liquidated all of the longs. $82 million worth of long liquidated, while stocks pump, gold and silver pump, everything pumps except for Bitcoin, which is rather strange, right? So the only ways of explaining this is manipulation at its max. Daily pattern on US open time hunt stops, essentially. Bitcoin will continue to be a volatile beast, especially over the holiday period when there are even less trading hours. I think it's essentially because of all of these unregulated exchanges trying to wipe out leverage long and shorts. So in terms of price action, right? I think bear in mind the 50 days moving average is definitely dropping very, very fast. think I've checked earlier, it's still at around 94,000 USDs. So I think as soon as it kind of hits 90,000 USD, there'll be heaps of people trying to, you know, take profits around that area. So 90 to 94,000 will be key profit taking. So apart from, you know, buyers trying to push the price higher to about 90,000, which constantly gets rejected over the past couple of days. So 90 to 94 will be like profit taking for many people, right? And we're gonna have to, you know, it's gonna take some time before we can push through that barrier, and then going back to reclaim 95k. But I don't foresee this to happen anytime soon until we've got even bigger buyers stepping in, right? So for now, ETF, it does seem, you know, ETF's not really buying. Even MicroStrategy is not buying, right? So we're just essentially relying on retails to buy, and that's not really, you know, pushing the price further up at all. Okay, so let's quickly look at the Fear and Greed Index. We are currently at 25, definitely an improvement versus yesterday at around 24, right? So we have slightly moved. We are still in the fear zone. At least we've gotten out from the extreme fear zone, okay? The fact that we all anticipate Bitcoin to be range bound for this coming few more trading days. Well, of course, Bitcoin is traded 24/7, but we don't expect any big buyers to step in, like the ETF, strategic reserve, institutional strategic reserve, and so forth. Okay, so let's take a quick look in terms of Bitcoin ETF flow. For yesterday, 22nd of December, it was actually bearish, 142 million USD outflow. Okay, so for the past 3 working days, so yesterday was the Monday, last Friday, last Thursday, it was all bearish at hundreds of millions worth of dollars worth of outflow. So 22nd, 142 million outflow. 19th of December, $158 million worth of outflow, and again 18th, which was another $161 million worth of outflow. Let's quickly take a quick look in terms of weekly performance for Bitcoin ETF. For this week, only 1 day's worth of data. I think pretty much we will only have like 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 days worth of data, because market will definitely be closed Thursday and Friday. For now, for this week is 142 million outflow this week. For last week, it was bearish at 497 million outflow. And the week before, it was bullish at 286 million inflow. So looking at the Bitcoin ETF chart right now on a weekly basis, it does seem that just simply lacking of any activities, mainly outflows, very small inflow. So even the ETF's not buying, right? So it does seem a lot of mind share has been taken away from Bitcoin and shifted into more stabilized asset like gold or silver, take for instance. Okay, I'll get into a little bit more of that in just a moment. Okay, quick look in terms of Ethereum, ETH, ETF. For 22nd, yesterday's data, it was inflow mainly by grayscale, right? So total inflow of around 84,600,000. 84 million, just call it 84 million, 85 million, if that sounds better. Even for the, so ETH has taken quite a huge beating for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 business days. It was essentially all outflow, right? So I think it would be interesting to look at the weekly chart. So obviously this week it's a positive inflow so far, right? And for the whole of last week, it was actually outflow. So this week, inflow of 85 million, but last week was major outflow of 643 million outflow, right? So bearish for last week. The week before was actually bullish of 208 million inflow, and then followed by bearish 65 million outflow. So not great for Ethereum too. So I think this is kind of like a given. If Bitcoin's not performing, any other asset will not really be performing too, even for Ethereum, right? They call it the second biggest crypto after Bitcoin. So not good for Ethereum, but it does seem the only companies that are buying, it's actually Bitmine. We'll get a little bit into Bitmine in just a moment. Solana ETF flow, the SOL ETF, again on the 22nd of December, it was bullish at 7.4 million inflow, right? If we take a quick look in terms of Solana SOL ETF, weekly performance, total this week is around 7.4, yes, because of 1 day's worth of data. And of course, last week it was bullish at 66 million worth of inflow. The week before was 37.2 million, and followed by another week before that was about 20.3 million. So throughout, it does seem a Solana ETF, in terms of performance, in terms of inflows, it actually outperformed Ethereum and Bitcoin, but of course at a smaller scale of buying, So that's pretty much it for ETF update. Let's quickly take a look at some news that can potentially impact the Bitcoin price for the past 24 hours. Gold. Will there be a rotation, right? So gold hit a new all-time high of over $4,450 per ounce again today, right? So while Bitcoin stays below its peak. So a little bit of background, gold is seen as a safe place when economy worries rise, and it has been going up strong because of global money challenges like Fed rate cuts and so forth. And why it matters, right? Because history shows Bitcoin often follows gold with a delay when money flows improve, right? So like in 2016 and 2020 cycles, where gold moved first, then Bitcoin caught up hard. So here's the expectation. Will Bitcoin this time around catch up with gold, right? So right now, gold is overbought, definitely overbought at 4,450 per ounce. So money might shift to Bitcoin soon, and that's what we all hope. At the time of gold's high at around 2 p.m. GMT yesterday, I think Bitcoin was steady but didn't pump at all, right? So definitely seeing that people are still more into gold than Bitcoin. It's definitely short-term bearish because Bitcoin looks weak compared to gold. And I do have the anticipation that there might be more selling of gold there might be more sell-off for Bitcoin for gold if gold continue to rise. Okay, so I think to reflect this, Peter Schiff warns of major U.S. economic crash, saying that gold's big rise over $100 in one day is a warning sign. Okay. Yes, of course, Peter Schiff will say that because he's a famous gold supporter who often criticize Bitcoin, right? And he thinks U.S. economy is in trouble with high debt and inflation. Hopefully, that will get addressed, at least for the inflation point. So it's quite important that this guy talks about such thing, because if economy crashes, people run to safe asset like gold or silver, right? And usually Bitcoin will suffer first, because it does sometimes Bitcoin will be deemed as risk asset, right? So this kind of adds on another layer of market fear. And at the time of his warning, at around 1 a.m. GMT time, Bitcoin was already down quite small, right? So I think for short term, it's pretty bearish for Bitcoin, because there will be crash fear, market economy crash fear, and people will simply just sell Bitcoin quick, at any point of such announcement, right? And yeah, I think take note of that. Another news from Trump. Okay, this is quite bullish news. President Trump expected to name a new Federal Reserve chair to replace Jerome Powell by first week of January. That's great. I think all of you guys are looking forward to that, right? And so a little bit of background. Powell has been Fed chair during rate hikes and cuts, and Trump wants someone who cuts rate at a more accelerated pace to help the US economy, right? And I think this news definitely matter, because a new chair could mean lower rates and more money printing in 2026, which can definitely help assets like Bitcoin, right? Maybe I'll make another video later. So follow me, hit subscribe, hit the like. I'll specifically go into slightly more detail in terms of this particular, rate cut or macro, how potentially it could affect Bitcoin. So I'll definitely get into one of that. So a new chair could mean lower rates and more money printing, which definitely can help risk assets like Bitcoin and a lot of your AI stocks, etc. Right? So market is definitely still sitting on the sideline, waiting for this great big announcement, and no big price move yet, but it could pump when it finally get announced, right? So yeah, I think this will definitely be a Bitcoin price movement announcement. So watch that space, okay? And overall, I think it's just essentially Christmas low liquidity that kind of causes the past 24 hours Bitcoin pump and dump, right? So thin liquidity ahead of the US macro data and festive period, with Bitcoin steady, but altcoin weak, very, very weak, right? So holiday means less trading and so small moves can cause big swings, right? That's when the market makers will come in to swoop in the leverage long and short. And of course, I think something to look forward to is the US data, like jobs or inflation data will be coming soon too. So yeah, I think slow volume makes manipulation easier, and like seen on on the daily pumps and dumps. Okay, so yeah, watch out if you're doing leverage trading out there. If you're in spot, you'll be fine. Okay, other interesting news to cover: strategy, MicroStrategy, right? Boost USD cash reserve to over $2.2 billion through selling their shares. Okay, so background: company has preferred shares pays dividend, so they need cash for that. So that they don't have to sell off their Bitcoin, right? So as Bitcoin price did, or strategy expecting that Bitcoin is heading towards a bear market, so they have now stopped or paused buying of Bitcoin. However, they're building their reserve to cover for dividends long time until about that they'll have enough cash bucket for at least 32 months, right? So that's good, right? Very likely we should be out of the bear market by then, and yeah, I think hopefully with more upwards movement for Bitcoin, MSTR strategy shares will pump again, hopefully, right? So I do hold a little bit of strategy. It could definitely be good time. I mean, maybe not now, not yet, to start to pound cost average in or dollar cost average in. Another news. This is a Michael Selick news. Okay, so in US, pro Bitcoin Michael Selick officially sworn in as new CFTC chairman, saying Congress prepares crypto market structure legislation for Trump's desk. Okay, that's good news, right? So CFTC regulates futures, and Selick is crypto friendly, replacing old rules that hurt the market. Okay, so the bill can stop manipulation and bring clear rules and structure for Bitcoin and crypto, helping more big old money, private banks, etc., to enter into Bitcoin and crypto. So it's not a short-term, price action news. However, for longer term, it's very bullish for better rules and growth, no doubt. And another news on Trump. So this is the news for Trump media. Okay, so while we all scared, right? Looking at Bitcoin price at around 87,000, weak hands, paper hands are all selling Bitcoin. But in the US, Trump media bought 451 Bitcoin worth over $40 million, bringing total to 11,542 Bitcoin, around $1 billion that Trump media stashed up so far. Okay, so who exactly is Trump media? Trump media is Trump's company, and Trump is pro Bitcoin now, and that news matter definitely, right? So it shows even the president's business buys Bitcoin as reserve. So yeah, are you not bullish enough, with such news to start stacking for more Bitcoin, right? It definitely adds on demand, but of course, no big pumps at announcement time. So I don't think it will have much price action immediately, but long-term bullish for Bitcoin, because more big holders means less sell pressure for Bitcoin, at least. Okay. Another news for JP Morgan. JP Morgan in US, JP Morgan considering offer Bitcoin crypto trading for institutional clients after CEO called it fraud before, right? So they call it fraud, and now they are offering Bitcoin and crypto for institutional clients because they obviously see more benefits, right? More money making opportunity, right? So why aren't you stacking more Bitcoin? It's it's the why. Okay, so yeah, I think with such thing in place, JP Morgan, it's I don't know, are they $5 trillion worth of bank? Shifting from anti to pro crypto definitely means something for Bitcoin and crypto. Well, for Bitcoin at least. Okay, so they'll bring trillions from big clients and huge for mainstream, right? So short term, I think it's bullish and exciting, and for longer term, definitely great for Bitcoin. More pension funds are definitely stacking Bitcoin. In the US, New Jersey pension fund bought $16 million worth of MicroStrategy strategy shares, MSTR ticker, right? Which obviously holds Bitcoin in their balance sheet. So background pensions are big funds for workers now buying Bitcoin as part within their portfolio, right? And this news definitely matter because this is kind of like a clear indication that states, right, are joining Bitcoin trend, at least in the US for now. Okay, so of course, nothing too exciting for people in the UK. So if you are a British UK citizens watching in the UK, hit the like, hit subscribe, drop in the comments, let me know who you are. Okay, so not exciting for people in the UK because not as if Rachel Reeves will be buying Bitcoin anytime soon, right? I do, however, see Reeves wanting to sell the confiscated Bitcoin to cover for the deficit. That would be more likely, right? So more demand through MSTR announced it's definitely bullish for at least for MSTR holders as well as Bitcoin holders. Last but not least, nation adoption of Bitcoin. Okay, Kazakhstan to sell gold reserve to buy up to $300 million of Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, so interesting that Kazakhstan switches from old gold buying to buying Bitcoin, right? So another great example of nations adopting Bitcoin. Okay, so bold move definitely. And yeah, I think in this kind of time, it just seems people cannot wait. People selling off. So I think now will probably not be the best time to sell. If you've already got plenty of exposure to Bitcoin, now probably wouldn't be the best time to buy either, right? So I think just sit on the sideline, wait and see what it brings for 2026. It's essentially just low liquidity right now, so just don't do much. Just go out, go celebrate Christmas, guys, right? Stop looking at charts. And let me just update you guys on a daily basis, right? Let me take the pain off you looking at charts all day. I'll just do a summary for you on a daily basis. I think I'll continue to make video over the Christmas period. And then we'll see how it goes, right? So overall summary, past 24 hours, been very, very quiet for Bitcoin. Price down small to about high of $87,000 with fear high, but holding range, right? So we range bound between 87 to 90K right now. So macro like gold high, all-time high for gold, silver, and announcement of US crashes. It's it's definitely short-term bearish for Bitcoin, but we're just gonna have to wait until 2026 where that leads us. Okay, so that's it for today. Hit the like, hit subscribe, become my subscribers. I need additional subscribers for sure, right? So let me know in the comment section if you are the 37th to the 40th subscribers, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.